this is my first time meeting you. Can you tell me a little bit about your show?
Hi, Pearl. I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Kate.
Hi, Kate West.
Kate West.
Well, jumping into it, Pearl, this is my show. I'm Bad Beard, and I'm the host of Bad Beard's podcast. It's obviously a little more than just a podcast. I have cameras, I have lights, I have sound, and clearly a vibe. And I've been working in the motorcycle space as well as production world for over 15 years. And so in Atlanta, I'm a stuntman. I'm a SAG performer.
Oh.
And there was a recent strike. And so with that strike, I had some time on my hands. And with all my friends in the motorcycle industry, I thought, what better thing to do than create a four camera podcast.
I like it.
Yeah, and so being in Atlanta, I went to Road Atlanta for the last races, made some friends, and now I'm back in Barber. And I'm talking to you. And so obviously, specific to Moto America, specific to Barber, and specific to BTR, we're learning what it is you guys are doing, which is building, training, and racing, which I know it's in the title. I didn't get it. And the last gal was like, no. Because I was like, so do they ever do you learn anything? Is there kind of a course you take? And they're like, yeah. So I heard a little bit. That's essentially what my show is just conversations with fun people.
Yeah.
And then I just have a background in whatever this world is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So who are you?
I'm Pearl. I'm based out in Orlando, Florida. And yeah.
Go Knights.
Yes, go Knights. Graduated from UCF back in 2016. I actually studied mechanical engineering, so this program was really attractive for me because being able to get your hands dirty and inside the engine and all that has been really fun.
So it's second nature for you just to jump in the mix on something like this?
Yes. Yes.
And we have
Kate West.
Kate West. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing?
I am from Maine. I work at a special purpose private school, so I work with children with social emotional deficits. And then in the summers, I work at a motorcycle school teaching everyone how to ride.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously we're here at a racetrack right now, and I'm talking to you because you're racing shortly in the next little while. What brought you into racing? So you just your family was already in the business of how did you end up on a bike?
For me, so I've always wanted to do it. I have been a little intimidated by the sport because there's so much talent. But for me, I think the racing runs in my blood. My dad used to race underground racing in Hong Kong, did it for Hong Kong and Honda and Toyota. So there's a little bit of that, but I just decided to do the two wheels route because it was important for me to be able to understand the mechanics of my own bike.
You were riding before BTR and all this?
Yes, but only for a season.
Okay.
So yeah, this is still really fresh for me. A lot of exposure.
Oh, you're jumping in the deep end.
Yes. And Barber is beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a good one to start with.
Yeah.
And yourself?
So I've been riding for about 7 years now. I had no interest. My dad tried to get me into bikes when I was growing up, but I had no interest. And then after high school, one of my friends was like, hey, I'm going to go get my motorcycle license in 2 weeks. I was like, I'm going to go get mine in 1 week. And then I was just kind of hooked. The track days, it was because of my dad. He wanted me to go on the track because riding at high speeds, close to people, you're learning your braking, you're learning your bike. And if you can handle that on a track, then in the road you won't go into the panic situation. So it was more of a safety reason for starting, and then it just became addicting. We started racing.
So it started with the fundamentals, and now you're out on the track.
Yeah.
Setting hot laps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was immediately diverted by your statement. You said you worked at a special needs. And this is my question: is it special purposes versus needs? Is this a difference? And I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with motorcycles, but it was. I was.
Yeah. So the special purpose, it's mostly kids that are not allowed in the public school anymore. So we teach them coping skills and stuff like that, so that they can transition back to the public school.
Is that a specific language difference that is new to society? How you're not allowed to say this anymore. This is actually the correct term.
So there's been a lot of studies that have improved. So we're an evidence-based practice. So we take a lot of the new science and we track behaviors, and we're always constantly changing for the current thing. A lot of our students are trauma-based, so we have a lot of trauma-informed.
Okay, so saying needs versus purposes isn't anything specific. That's just specifically what you guys say it there.
Yeah, a lot of people,
Okay.
when you say special needs, a lot of people think, maybe children in wheelchairs and that kind of thing. But we're more of just the social emotional.
Similar but different. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Back to the business at hand. Well, I asked because my background outside of this, and like I said, you're meeting me at a racetrack while we're talking motorcycles in my little trailer, sweating profusely. But I also recently worked with developing a brand in the autism space.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a live-work facility down in Orlando, Florida.
Wow, look
Yeah.
at that.
Small world.
Because there's a lot of speech pathology and a lot of programs in Orlando. And so I have hands in lots of things, and so I was curious if it was just a language thing or it was just random.
We're very broad.
Got it.
We reach a lot of different students.
In Orlando, I grew up in Florida. I'm from Southwest Florida. I'm from Fort Myers. Sup. And then went to school in Orlando. I went to Valencia and went to all the UCF games and had a great time tailgating as such. But I wasn't riding motorcycles at that stage. All my friends were racing supercross and outdoors.
Tailgates are the best place to do your stunt shows.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so that was my kind of the beginning of my experience. But I'm not familiar with the racing culture in Orlando. Is it something to be?
I think it's growing.
Okay.
It's definitely growing. So UCF has a group called Night Riders, and it's a motorcycle group.
That's night with a K, guys. If you're not hip.
Yes. And so
I didn't know that.
that's how I got exposure to my first track weekend at Jennings. So they host every spring and fall, and I was like, oh, let's see what this is all about. If anything, it'll just build good skill for the street, because I started with an R3, and those things are tiny, and my community just, it's 6 lanes leading out of the community, so it's like, all right, I got to figure out how to make myself big and bold on a tiny little bike. So if anything, skill translates over from the racetrack to the street, so yeah.
Oh, interesting. And then, so not just specific to women, but just in general, the culture there is growing too, or?
Yes. But the street bike crowd has been kind of growing, evolutionary. Yeah. And that's been exciting to see. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then in Maine, what's I haven't made it as far as Maine. I think I went to Cape Cod.
Okay.
So I'm not far off. What is that? Still like 7 hours?
It's only like 4 hours from the base of Maine, but not many people consider, Kittery the area of Maine.
Got it. And so what's the scene up there? Like they pick up crab traps and then throw them on the back of the bike?
Pretty much. A lobster.
Okay, excuse me.
Honestly, Maine's not very motorcycle friendly.
Oh.
We do our best. The roads, we have so many potholes. A lot of our roads are not conducive to riding motorcycles. Dirt bikes, a lot of the trails in Maine are not open to dirt bikes, so we have no tracks in Maine. It's very, very kind of sad. But that's why I like working at the motorcycle school that I do. We work at the best motorcycle school, A&J Motorcycle Safety School in Bucksport. But we reach so many people. If you have 3 classes a week, each class with 3 students, or each class with 12 students, that's 36 students. So it grows pretty quickly, your broadcast. And
then with your experience riding, both of you, when did BTR, Build Train Race, pop onto your radar, and what was that? Was it excitement? Was it, like, oh, that's not for me, or like, oh, it would be cool if, or what was your...
You want to go?
Yeah, so the first time I saw it, someone in my, one of the track day groups that I'm in posted about Kaylee a few years ago. Like, hey, check out this program, it's pretty cool. And I looked at it, I said, I'm going to do that one day. Didn't know it was going to be this soon, so it's super exciting. But I knew that it was right for me. I just didn't know when it was going to be right for me.
Yeah.
For me, I discovered it in Daytona. So there was a hammer school in Daytona, and I was like, all right, I want to touch a whole bunch of other tracks. For me, it was done strategically, where it was geographically based from Orlando, and where I can navigate to the closest. And then I heard a Build Train Race, and I was like, building your motorcycle? Heck yeah, that's like the next goal I want to do. Yeah. So I was really focused on that.
It's interesting that the build is specific for you, because it was the same for me. My dad's a mechanic, a motorcycle mechanic. So growing up, I was like, I always wanted to learn, but it was the kind of thing like, hey, this time I'll do it and show you, and then next time you can do it, and then next time never came.
Well, and your dad's here today.
Yeah, he is here today.
And is he still offering all that same advice?
Oh, yep, he was looking at my bike. Hey, what's this? I'm like, Dad. He just rode his bike down from Maine with my mom. So they.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
What's he riding?
He has a BMW, a K1600
Okay.
GT. So.
He likes a smooth ride.
Yeah, inline 6, can't go wrong.
Okay. Cool. And so, what was your dad's reaction when? Because was it an open conversation like, "Hey, I'm gonna sign up for this thing," or
Yeah.
was it after the fact like, "Hey, Dad, guess what?"
So he totally knew about it. I did. We have to send in with your application a video, and I did. The
Okay,
video.
so I talked to the last couple ladies about the application process. It's not
Yeah.
enough to say, "Hey, yes, I know how to ride and I'm
Yeah.
interested in racing." It sounds more involved than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they got you doing?
So the first thing that you have to do is you have to send in a video. It's about 2 minutes,
2
right?
minutes.
And you just talk about yourself. And I actually did my video in my dad's workshop. So that was with my brother filming it. So it was kind of a whole family affair. But so that's how it starts. And then I think they ask a few brief questions.
Yeah, brief questions on like what
yeah.
your background was, what you've been
Yeah.
exposed to, and then you kind of just talk about some of your upbringing, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't think they're always looking for the fastest, best riders, but I think that they're looking for the group that's going to mesh the best.
Yeah.
Because the social dynamic and interior to the team is
Yes.
you guys are hands-on with each other all the
Yes.
time. Like, what does it even look like? I'm obviously not on the road with you, so what does that look like?
So like the
Yeah.
build phase specifically, they pretty much, it was like a 5-day sleepover, and so we got to
Yeah.
wake up, build the bike together, and then
Where's this
come
happen?
back.
I use Bikes Direct.
Yes.
Where's that?
Dallas,
Yes.
or right outside of Dallas. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
That
a
was-
great. It was a huge warehouse, kind of huge shop. So we all had our own little bay area and set of tools.
Yep.
And it was really cool. We got to work off of each other, and we had free mechanics walking around helping us out if we needed
Yep.
help. So.
And so is it the whole spectrum? Like for a crash course, there's some folks that know what they're doing. There's some that are like,
Yep.
I think this is a wrench.
Yeah, I went to the
Seriously.
side where I had picked up a hammer, and this is the only tool I know how to use. So
Yep.
that's where
Yep.
I came from.
Never used a power tool before, so
Yeah.
building confidence on getting exposure
Yeah.
to that has been really, really life changing.
Yeah.
So speaking with some new friends of mine that were just in here and learning what it's been for them to kind of represent this new culture in racing, this female presence that's pouring into the paddock. What it's been to kind of see these girls come through and now have people to look up to. Females, women. That what's that experience for you guys been like? What was it? Because like when you grew up, did you have that? Like you grew up with a.
Yeah.
What was it?
So where I grew up, there's our local track is in New Hampshire, and there's not very many females there. They're all super supportive, but there's not a whole lot of us. So coming here, it was so amazing having 12 other female riders, all
Yeah.
about trying to help you and get you on the track
Yeah.
and trying to help you improve. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I think the female presence in motorsports is growing, which is exciting to see because, the more you see yourself and connect, that's what makes the hobby that much more worth it. But I think what's really exciting is when you're able to turn on the competitiveness in the right way and then,
Yeah.
Be helpful and advocate for each other off track, I think that's the more exciting part.
What is there internal a lot of politics when it comes to like you're all on the same team but you're competing against each other? Like it's how many seasons has there been?
I think this is the 4th or 5th season.
Right.
Each year it's getting
Progressively better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was actually a thought that I had, but with our group, I
think we
felt like
jive
we've
really
been
well.
very supportive. Yeah.
I have to
Thank you.
sneeze on camera.
I got you. Go for it. You need another one? Sometimes they come in threes.
It's okay. I was sweating so bad he handed me a fan.
The show's going out live, guys. That's right. We sneeze, we sweat.
Is it live?
We are human.
People are watching right now. Thousands
tell me
and
it was
thousands
live.
of people. No,
I
it's not
take
live.
back everything I said.
772 Kate West.
772. I will have a bright green bike.
So, you got sidetracked. What were you saying? It was
Women in motorsports.
women in motorsports.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess that gives me the thought, the tangent. Growing up, it's kind of what is it like the idea like, oh yeah, chick riders or
Yeah.
whatever. But honestly, in my experience as a rider, I've never encountered that. And so, is
Yeah.
it just something we saw in a cartoon that we all think is normal? Which I've not encountered anyone in my entire riding experience that has ever thought less of like chick riders or
I
had
know.
something. It's always been kind of commonplace that women
Yeah.
actually ride.
Yeah.
I really think that on the racetrack, especially where I'm from, like they don't. I'm just kind of one of the guys there.
Right?
But it's interesting enough in our basic rider course, I do see that with women learning to ride. I do see a lot more of the guys like looking down on them because it usually
Interesting.
takes them a little
Well,
bit
in the
longer.
women's rider course, does that mean the men are learning as well, and they're looking down on the women?
Sometimes, yeah.
It
Yeah.
works.
It's yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It's
Yeah.
just different styles.
Yeah.
That's what I've
Yeah.
learned.
Well, and obviously, I mean, you know, everybody has their own perspective and experience,
Yeah.
but I guess
Yeah.
I'm just with a lot of really elevated individuals that just
Yeah.
like, you know. That's fantastic. So with what you guys are doing, what I've learned as well is that there's 2 seasons you guys get in BTR
Yes.
before you either go pro or you just take it back home and
Yeah.
you keep racing, and now you have an entire new skill set. So
Yeah.
what do you guys project for yourselves in this experience? Is it like an incredible memory that you'll take and treasure forever, or you're like, I'm going to take this one step further?
I would like to go further. Being exposed to all this has kind of opened your eyes, and
Yeah.
you kind of figure out like you don't have to stay in your little pond. You can venture out a little
Yeah.
bit. So
Yeah, racing wise, when I first started the program, I thought I was just gonna have so much fun for the 2 years, go home, be the same Kate. But I've been amazed at the amount of doors that have already started opening for me.
Yeah.
People reaching out to me that have never talked to me before at like my local track and stuff. So
yeah.
it just feels more acceptance, and who knows what's gonna come.
See you at MotoGP.
Hey.
Few steps in between.
That's exciting. Well, so what's something that you've learned or experienced along the way that you did not expect at all? Like totally out of left, you're like, oh, interesting.
For me, suspension. Again, with my dad being a mechanic, I'm like, hey dad, something's funky, and he's always like, it's you, it's not the bike, it's you, you know? So it's been really interesting learning that when I feel certain things, it might not always be me. Sometimes it is, a lot of times it is me. But there are certain things that I feel that...
Maybe your forks are a little off.
Maybe my
Dad,
voice are-
I heard about that.
he helped me out on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's finding self-confidence, because I've had to confront a lot of fears each time you approach a corner, each time you're approaching a new track, or you know, it's almost like playing with a science experiment. It's a new set of parameters each time,
Yeah.
and depending on what you're dealt with, you kind of just take it and go, all right, here's where I'm at, let's go. So yeah.
Can I ask Pearl a question?
Absolutely.
So before the program, how many tracks have you been to before Crescent?
3.
Yeah, so I've only been, Crescent was my 5th track. So it's really cool, you know, being in New England, there's not a lot of tracks. So it was really cool, this program too, like opening your eyes to all these other tracks. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of interesting.
Or are you going to go back to your track with your nose a little higher and be like,
I don't know. I'm kind of a perfectionist
new
at my
standard.
track with my bike. So I'm definitely a lot harder on myself there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned the confidence piece, because specific to motorcycles, whether you're racing, riding, whatever,
Right.
it's all dependent on confidence.
Yeah.
You can't really second guess or
Gotta be
have
assertive.
hesitation,
You have to be intentional.
or else you end up on the
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's great.
agriculture line.
Say
I
it?
learned the agricultural line.
Explain.
I learned that. So like when you go off the track in the grass,
Yeah.
it's the agriculture line. The, you know, agriculture grass.
I got it, yeah.
Yeah.
I just try to stay between the mustard and the mayonnaise. You heard that one?
I don't think we have mustard on this track though.
No.
Fair. All right. Well, you have been wonderful guests, and I'm so happy I got to get to know you a little more.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing with all of our wonderful followers, listeners, wherever you are, wherever you're listening. We're happy to keep bringing these new faces and characters and stories to you. And we're learning about women in infield and all these different things. It's been fun to see how supportive Royal Enfield's been for you guys and what you're doing, and equally with Moto America and the participation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I fit in wherever I do. But this is the time of the show for you to shine. So with this camera sorry, you're that guy. And this one's yours.
Oh,
Why don't you tell us anything that matters to you, anything relevant, or something you want to share, your handles, your hashtags, or something you want to bring attention to?
All I really do is Instagram, KWest4321. I'm trying to get better at posting. I've never been a great poster, but now that we have all these like cool sponsors, you know, Alpine Stars, Arai, it's just, they give us such great things. So it's, I've been trying to work on that a little bit.
Yeah. And then follow me on P Squirrely on Instagram, and then we'll just have fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. Well, until next time, friends, reporting live from Barber Motorsports Park, I am Sam Schneider, Badbeard, your host. And we'll see you in the next sauna session here at the track.
Yeah. Hey. I was thinking, I was like, you know, at least if I'm sweating this much, I'll be a little bit lighter for our race.
Every race, they're going to ask me to come back just to sweat you guys out. Yeah. See ya.
Oh, that's funny.
We glowing.